Hi, Assalamualaikum to my lecturer, Professor Madya Dr. Haji Muhammad Shahnawi, and to everyone. My name is Nurin Amira Afiqah binti Muhammad Salim, student ID 2024437214. And today, the court case that I'll be presenting is INC Cyberjaya Sdn Berhad versus Ahmad Zahid bin Mirza Abdul Hamid. There will be 4 parts, which is facts of the case, issue of the case, judgment of the case, and analysis and critique. For the facts of the case, first, the respondent signed 6 separate employment contracts. The first 3 contracts, starting 2009 to 2012, were with IMS Data Center 2 Sdn Berhad. The 4th to 6th contracts, starting on 2012 to 2013, were with IMS Cyberjaya Sdn Berhad, which is the applicant. In September 2013, during the 4th contract, the applicant offered the respondent a 5th contract, starting on 1st October 2013 to 30 September 2014. The respondent was unhappy with its terms, which is the removal of bonus scheme. After discussions, the 6th contract was offered for 3 months to give time to reconsider the 5th contract. On 1st October 2013, the respondent rejected the 5th contract. On 18 October 2013, the applicant terminated the 3-month 6th contract early, effecting release on 19 October 2013. The respondent received full October salary, 2 months salary in lieu of notice. Therefore, the respondent accepted payment. We continue the facts of the case. The respondent filed a representation under Section 20 of the Industrial Relations Act 1967, claiming unfair dismissal. The industrial court ruled in his favor, holding he was a permanent employee. Dismissal was without just cause or excuse. Next, the High Court upheld the industrial court, and lastly, the applicant appealed to the Court of Appeal. Next, there are 3 issues of the case. The first issue is separate legal entities. Were IMS Data Center 2 and IMS Cyberjaya Sdn Berhad one employer or 2 separate legal entities for employment purposes? The second issue is nature of the contracts. Were the respondents' employment contracts fixed-term contracts or permanent employment? And the last issue is foreign national status. Where a foreign national requires a work permit, can be legally considered a permanent employee in Malaysia. Going to judgment of the case. First, IMS Data Center 2 and IMS Cyberjaya Sdn Berhad are separate legal entities. The contracts could not be treated as one continuous employment. No fraud or unconscionable behavior to justify lifting the corporate veil. Second, contracts with the applicant were fixed term. The 4th, 5th, and 6th contracts clearly specified their duration. Clause 8 allowed early termination with notice properly executed. High Court erred by concluding the employment was permanent. And lastly, a foreign national cannot be considered a permanent employee. Work permit dependent expatriates cannot legally claim permanent employment. The final order: the dismissal was not wrongful under the law. Appeal allowed with cause. Going to the last part, which is analysis and critique. First one, court's correct application of separate legal entity doctrine. The court emphasized that employment contracts executed with different companies cannot automatically be treated as one continuous relationship. The High Court's approach wrongly ignored fundamental principles of corporate law. The court rightly refused to lift the corporate veil because no fraud, sham, or abuse existed. Critique, labor law perspective, substance over form. Many courts focus on substance over form. Companies within the same group may be treated as one enterprise. Counter argument: the respondent's role, designation, and job functions were largely similar across contracts. This may suggest a single, continuous employment relationship. We continue to the analysis and critique. Next is fixed-term contract analysis. The court was correct that each contract explicitly contained a fixed duration. Clause 8 clearly allowed early termination. The acceptance of 2 months' salary in lieu of notice indicates contractual compliance. The critique: repeated renewals of fixed-term contracts can be seen as evidence of permanent employment. This is especially true when the role is essential and ongoing. In this case, the contracts were with 2 different companies. And the last analysis and critique will be foreign national cannot be permanent employee. The court relied on the principle that expatriates' employment is dependent on work permits. Work permits are inherently temporary. Permanent employment is legally impossible. The critique: some countries allow foreigners to become permanent employees through long-term work permits. Malaysia's approach differs. Clear distinction between permanent residents and expatriate pass holders. The passes do not lead to permanent employment status. Coming off the conclusion, the Court of Appeal concluded that the respondent's dismissal was not wrongful. It found that AIMS Data Center 2 and AIMS Cyberjaya were legally separate entities, with no justification to lift the corporate veil. The respondent's employment was based on genuine fixed-term contracts, and the employer had exercised its contractual right to terminate under Clause 8. Because the respondent was a foreign national whose employment depended on a work permit, Malaysian law did not allow him to claim permanent employee status. Therefore, the Industrial Court and High Court had erred, and the appeal was rightly allowed. This is my reference, and that is all from me. Thank you.